I was born with many attributes. Blue eyes, vivid curiosity, a sense of humour, a love for travel, but unfortunately not a sense of direction. In the past few years, my activism has led me to travel across the world, and I soon came to the conclusion that I needed a strategy to overcome my severe lack of geographical instinct. My solution was simple: just keep walking. Equally as flawed as it is perfect. While some have mapped out each stage of their journey with a clear goal in sight, I've relied on the mere hope that if I can simply keep walking, I'm bound to end up where I'm meant to be. You might not be surprised to hear that this strategy has often resulted in me getting majorly lost. However, it's also allowed me to see sights I so easily could have missed, to meet people I never would have spoken to, and to explore places I never could have planned to experience, simply by walking. It's easy to feel out of control. It's easy to feel scared that life is happening around you and you need to know exactly where you want to go. When others have their lives mapped out to specific detail, it's easy to feel lost and like you'll never find where you're meant to be. It's a feeling I know all too well. For so much of my life, I felt lost, yet I had such a desire to find my place. I felt powerless, yet empowered. I felt voiceless, yet I had so much to say. I stumbled into politics. It was a path I never thought I could take. When I looked at my local politicians, I didn't see young women like myself reflected in local politics. I didn't think someone like me could have a voice at that table. Politics wasn't something that was easily discussed, and I certainly didn't see people like me reflected within our political structures. I was different. Too different. Or so I thought. I've grown to recognise that being different has become one of my greatest strengths. My journey has been one of self-discovery and belonging. I was completely shocked when I got the call to say I'd been accepted into the Northern Ireland Youth Assembly. I couldn't even name a political party, never mind had experience engaging with politicians and voicing my opinions. I'd never felt more out of place in my life. At first it was really, really difficult. The imposter syndrome set in, and because of it I nearly missed out on so many important opportunities. I nearly didn't run for election with the UK Youth Parliament because I didn't believe I had a chance of getting in, and the same for the Secondary Students' Union. But even when I didn't believe I could, I did. Fast forward 4 years later, my work with the Youth Parliament has led me to represent young people in the House of Commons on numerous occasions, as well as working with organisations like the Tony Blair Institute for Global Change on my peace building work. I've served as the International Officer for the Secondary Students' Union for 3 years, travelling across Europe, working with the organising Bureau of European School Student Unions to fight for equality and democracy for students across Europe. And I've recently been elected as President of the organisation. There have been many barriers along the way, but my biggest barrier has been myself. So often, my load has been weighed down by the weight of my own expectations. The pressure I've placed upon myself has at times made my walk an uphill climb. Believing in myself has been my biggest battle yet. I've so often felt the need to prove myself and to prove my worth because I didn't feel like I was good enough, and at times I still don't. Not only was I entering the political arena, but my Teach the Troubles campaign and my peace building was opening a conversation that was very complex and many were reluctant to have. At first I felt too powerless to make a change, and I still second-guessed myself. However, I kept on putting one foot in front of the other. I've kept on walking to find where I belong. Belonging is a journey of self-discovery. It's about knowing who you are, what you stand for, and what you want to say. I never could have seen myself in this role. I had an idea of what a politician was in my head, and I absolutely did not fit that. But I knew I had my own views, my own ideas, and my own things to say, and so I realised I didn't need to fit the stereotype. As long as I knew what I stood for, I knew I belonged in that room. I've come to realise I don't want to be like the politicians I grew up with. I want to work for others, to serve others and their interests, views and concerns above my own. I want to make meaningful change in society, and I want to bring creativity, individuality and humanity to a field so easily stereotyped by old men in suits. Fake it till you make it. It's a phrase every single one of us has probably heard at one time or another, and despite its popular use, a phrase I strongly disagree with. Too often we define belonging by our ability to fit in. However, what if it's our ability to stand out that truly means we belong? All too often I felt out of place in a room. From being the youngest person in the room by a good decade, the only female voice, the only person from a rural area, the list of examples are endless. And all too often I felt the need to fake it till I made it, and the pressure to be something I wasn't. However, I quickly learned that when you can't change your situation, you change your perspective, and that being yourself is so much more important than fitting in. Instead of trying to change who I was because I felt out of place, I began to change my perspective, asking questions like, why am I the only young person in this room? How can I empower more female voices? Why are all views not represented in this room? In times where I felt out of place and encouraged not to speak out, I've had to change my view of belonging. The dictionary definition of belong is a feeling of being comfortable as part of a particular group because they accept you. However, I don't think we can truly ever belong until we accept ourselves for who we are and we refuse to be anything else. As young people, we need to stand out. We need to belong even when everyone is telling us we don't. We need to make a difference, be seen and be heard. The rooms where I haven't belonged are the rooms in which I've made the biggest difference because I ensured every perspective and view was represented. If you ever feel like you don't belong, make it your mission to represent the views of all young people who aren't there to speak for themselves. Make it your mission to push for meaningful change. Make it your mission to change the system and not yourself. Find belonging in yourself and not in others. In the times where I have felt out of place, lost and directionless, I've stuck to my trusty motto of just keep walking. I truly believe that it's better to step into the unknown than to stay standing still. It's better to keep moving forward, even when you don't know where that path might lead. The reason I am here today is because I believe no opportunity is a bad opportunity. Take every experience you can and learn from it. I've gotten lost along the way, but I'm a stronger person because of it. I've stumbled into situations where I didn't see a way out, and I'm resilient as a result. I've met people who've changed my life along the way, and I've made memories that keep me going when the path seems rough and the road is unending. When I was younger, I never questioned my sense of belonging. However, as I grew up, doubt began to tarnish my sense of self. The world seemed too big to change, and I seemed too small to make a difference. Over the past few years, I've regained belief in myself, my purpose, and my place, despite the fact the world is an overwhelmingly vast and complex place, because it's also filled with billions of people just like me, just trying to find their place, trying to find their path. It's filled with people who, like me, are constantly moving forward, and if I can learn from them and learn with them, and if I can help to keep them going, to keep moving forward, then I can change the world. Because finding your place in the world doesn't require an astronomical journey. Sometimes it just takes a single step forward, a leap into the unknown, and a willingness to keep exploring, to keep learning, to keep trying, and to keep moving forward. And so if anyone feels like they don't belong and they don't know their place in the world, I would encourage you to just keep walking.